recording.
Oh,
We
wait,
are
wait,
now
wait.
We are now recording the November 24th, 2017 Small Business Accounting Advisors. Hello, everyone.
Hello, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. And Sarah, you have somebody new with you?
This is my friend Jenny B.
Hi.
Jenny
Hi,
Brown.
Jenny.
Hi.
Brown.
And Linda has her client who made her beautiful necklace. Show your necklace.
Let's see.
Aw.
I can change this to.
That is so cool.
I bought it as a ring for this, and then she took parts of the ring and made them into the necklace.
Oh,
Nice.
I love that.
Nice. Okay. We're going
Go
to
off the other ones that she did. Her name is Marilyn Burke, and she took heirloom pearls that I had that were our family, and they were, the big strands that was pearl, 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 all that. And we took them apart, and this is now my sister. That's for my sister. And then, and she even made earrings to go with them. Little earrings to go
nice.
with each. And then one of my nieces but Marilyn Burke is with good. I love it when I do that. There's more strands. Okay. Hold on. Where's the? Get that. I'm just. So you have a good Thanksgiving?
What?
A good Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sarah has that delicious
I
broccoli.
typed up this is another. This goes to one of my nieces. This one is like a very light purple. It's like a jade. It's like a purple jade.
Nice. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Okay, we're gonna start with Dennis. Dennis is gonna tell us about the IRS forum that he went to last week. He wasn't with us last week. So he's gonna tell us what's on tap and what they're proposing. Crazy stuff, huh, Dennis?
Yeah, especially if you're an S Corp.
Okay. So Dennis, would you like to share your slides with us?
Okay. Can you see it?
We see a black screen.
Okay, there we
Yep.
go.
See, it says unpacking the tax cuts
Yes.
and job. Okay. So essentially, they're going to try to. I didn't pay too much attention to. They want to. This is what it is currently, apparently. They want to replace with the 20% flat tax, and on a personal service, they want it at 25%. And for right now, personal service corporations pay 35%. The thing that's kind of that people aren't catching on to, right, at least I don't think they are, is with S corps, they're going to want to make. Right now, the game with S corps is to pay yourself a small salary and take a lot of distributions. And so what they want to do is basically try to increase the amount of self-employment tax that you're going to be paying. And so they've come up with this convoluted formula to figure out what percent is salary, where it's basically the income is derived from services, and what part is business income, which is derived from capital, that's not, like, for example, in accounting would be 100% services. And so effectively you'd be paying a lot more. You wouldn't be able to take as much in the way of distributions that are excluded from self-employment tax.
Yeah.
And then they've come up with that no one really quite understood the formula that they're going to be using to try to figure out what part of the income should be self-employment taxable and what part would be distributions. And since there are a lot of small businesses or S corps, I don't think they're going to be very happy with this proposal. And I'm surprised that it hasn't gotten more publicity.
So
Now,
in effect, killing the S corps.
Yeah, well, yeah, essentially. It's going to take away one of the major benefits in saving on payroll taxes. So right now they've got The Section 179 expensing is $500,000 limit. They're proposing $5 million limit through 2022. And apparently some of these are like temporary and some are permanent. Apparently the corporate tax cuts are permanent, but some of the other things are just temporary for maybe 10 years, 5 to 10 years. So these are the new proposed tax rates that they want. 12%. They're going to basically collapse it into 4 categories. And these would be the capital gain rates. Now, this is where people are, I think, are being taken advantage of, in the sense that right now your standard deduction for married filing joint, I think, is like 12. Was it 12.2? Okay. It was like, I think it's like 12.7, and they're proposed raising it to 24,000. But what they're not telling you is that you're going to lose your personal exemptions, and so.
Oh, that's tricky.
Yeah. So essentially, if you've got more than one kid, you're losing out, and that's what I don't think people are picking up on. At least this side, it's not even doubling it, because if you doubled the 12.7, it'd be like 25.4, and so they're still not telling you the truth on that when they say they're doubling the standard deduction to 24,000. That's really not doubling it, because it'd be 25.7 if they were doubling it. Right. And so, but the key is that it says right here, repeal of personal exemptions, 10-year gain, $1.56 trillion. So that would basically fund the tax cuts for the rich. Child credit law, that was a little bit confusing. I mean, this is what it is now, and this is what they're proposing. I think this is the Senate. And then they're also getting rid of a lot of the educational. It says replace the 3 education credits with 1 credit. It's going to kind of screw students over, I think. And repeal of exclusion for employer-provided education assistance. Repeal deductions for student loan interest and qualified tuition-related expenses. Let's see, and the overall, the 529 plans, I guess, and then itemized deductions. They're going to repeal overall limit on itemized deductions, limit the interest deduction, repeal. They're talking about. It's essentially putting a lot of restrictions on the itemized deductions.
Yeah.
So they're limiting mortgage interest, and they're repealing now state and local taxes.
I think that, there's 2 versions. There's the House and the Senate. And I've heard on some of them, they're going to limit it to, certain amounts, but for high income, like California and New York, that's going to be, the blue states, it's going to impact more than, say, the red states. They're going to, let's see.
Oh my gosh, limit casualty losses for hurricanes. Oh my gosh, that's really in there?
No, 2 hurricanes.
Where is that?
What do you see? What are you reading?
Itemized deductions, this change deduction for limit casualty losses deduction to hurricanes.
Oh, here, right in the middle, limit casualty loss deduction.
Yeah, I'll put these slides in the chat so you can have them.
Okay, yeah, I'll put it up at the end of the...
repeal deduction for alimony.
We need to all contact our representatives and say, what is wrong with you?
Well, what would kill me is the deduction for medical expenses. I need that. With the cost, with insurance and the high deductibles you're paying, and oh my gosh.
Well, like I was telling Gina, I was sitting by a guy, a CPA, who's has some elderly clients in a nursing home, and he told me that if they repealed that medical deduction, it would cost his clients an extra $30,000 in taxes. And these people are like in their 80s and 90s.
Well, that, like my father was in a dementia unit.
Yeah.
So 100% of what, $3,500 a month? My friend here is a social worker. $3,500 a month. It was all a medical deduction.
Yeah.
And I don't know how we could, I mean, it's hard enough to come up with that money in the first place without.
Yeah. So, and then deny deduction for unreimbursed employee expenses. It's like, yeah, I mean, these people, and then so they figure that it will save 1.26 trillion. I mean, if they're going to give a big tax cut to corporations, they have to pay for it, and this is where they're paying for it.
Yeah, taking it away from
But
the.
why do they want to give such? Why do they want to give such of a lowering to corporations?
Who do you think pays their? Who do you think are their donors?
Well,
Who do you think provides them money for their? They have a different
I'm
philosophy.
all for
money,
making
give
it
money back
simpler.
to them, we'll get more.
Pardon me.
What'd you say, Linda?
Yeah, I guess it to me it doesn't seem real ethical. Who am I? So who am I?
I'm for. I mean, all the look at just these couple of slides of
I know.
of complexity.
Oh yeah, it's going to be I mean, just for the S corps alone, it's going to be a nightmare trying to. So they're not simplifying.
They're not simplifying. I'm not seeing it getting simpler. I'm seeing it
Simplifying.
Well, a colleague of mine who I've known for about 10 years, we were talking before the meeting, says,
Yeah.
he's not worried because every tax simplification is like a Jobs Act for accountants, And so I can imagine, especially on S corps, and so then on this mortgage interest deduction, they're going to says eliminate deduction on home equity debt accruing after November.
Wow.
Or another thing they talked about, the kind of, if you're a real estate investor or you're selling your house, right now to get the 121 exclusion where you can deduct, eliminate up to $500,000 of your gain. Right now it's 2 out of 5. If you owned your house 2 out of the last 5 years, you could get it. They're changing it to 5 out of the last 8.
Wow.
So they're going to make it harder to exclude all the capital gains. Let's see.
Yeah, right now they allow a mortgage interest deduction on 2 homes.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. They're getting rid of the second home.
$1 million, but you can't write off more than $1 million in interest a year.
I think they're getting rid of the second home, so it's just going to be on your primary.
That's what it looks like. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it seemed to say.
Yeah.
Only allow mortgage interest deduction on principal resident.
Right. Yeah.
It
Says
makes it sound like there's only one principal in residence.
Well,
But
yeah.
right now, I talked because I thought it was just 1 now, but it isn't. Right now it's 2. But the
Right.
most interest you can write out a year is $1 million, and my client pays over $1 million a year in.
Well, now it's going to be reduced $1 million cap to $500,000 for debt after November 2nd, 2017. So again, in a high, like states like California and New York that have high costs of living, that's going to be and so the real estate agents are against it or the real estate industry is against it because
Right.
it's going to reduce the value. It's going to impact the value of homes if, the demand's going to be down if you can't finance it with, mortgage interest deduction.
Yeah.
So on the flip side, a normal working person who wants to buy a house, did I buy a house so I could get a tax deduction? No, I bought a house because I wanted to buy a house.
Right.
But
But it helps to have
would that have stopped me? I don't,
But it makes it easier to, get the house because of the interest deduction, I think.
Yeah,
Right.
you have more available cash in order
Yeah, but I mean,
to
I didn't buy.
afford the house in the first place. True.
Yeah, I didn't buy my house just so I get because I mean, you only get the deduction for the first probably 15 years of the mortgage. After that,
Right.
because of the amortization.
Right.
Uh,
So what was that about contributions? Where'd you go?
The other thing that's really interesting, when they talk about making a tax cut for the middle class, you notice that nobody ever sits down and defines what they're considering to be middle class.
right.
And
You have to
middle
back
class in Savannah, Georgia is a lot different.
everything to figure out what it is they're talking about.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Middle class here in Savannah is a lot different than where do you live, Linda?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I mean, in Seattle, the houses.
poverty level here, but it's okay. I live pretty well.
I mean, in Seattle, even in the city of Seattle itself, I mean, you get like a 1,200 square foot house for maybe $500,000. I mean, it's a joke.
Oh my gosh, and we can for what? 2, yeah, yeah, JD. but like in around here, $200,000 will buy you a 4-bedroom, 3,000 square foot gorgeous home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's funny. 1,000 square foot house out here where I live, it's probably $450,000.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
I would have to be in my mind a lot richer to be able to afford it to even live where you live. in the same way I'm accustomed. But yeah. So my concept of middle class is completely different than.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like in my mind, it's really difficult because the United States is really a whole bunch of states that are united. So we're a country, but
Well, it's also more of an urban versus rural type of society where, the West Coast and East Coast and some, areas around, like rivers and are, the big cities versus, like when you fly over the United States and you look out there over the plains and it doesn't look all that populated,
What's that about?
that's interesting because when I flew from Southern California to Northern California to San Jose for QuickBooks Connect,
Mhm.
the Great Central Valley of California, which is where most of the fruits and vegetables for this country are grown. There's some grown in the south and that also, but it's dark. It's dark at night because there's just little.
No light pollution.
Not
Farmland.
Central Valley. It's all in the metropolitan areas. Yeah, it's very interesting. I'm very, very seriously considering leaving California.
I mean, just accounting wise, I don't know how y'all handle just the sheer volume in New Jersey and New York and just the payroll, the volume of payroll and other rules that you have to keep up with is nothing like we have to do.
Yeah. Here's what I was telling you about with the exclusions, the limit exclusion to replace 2 out of 5 years with 5 out of 8. So you'd have to limit your use to every 5 years rather than every 2 years. And, because some people will put the house out as a rental for, a while and then still qualify for the exclusion by making sure they own it for 2 out of the 5 years. Now, if it's going to be 5 out of the 8 years, that's going to impact, your rental properties too.
Mm-hmm.
So then there's a whole lot of things that just will ripple through that people don't really foresee, until you start getting down and figuring out the complexity. And I don't really have a lot of confidence that they are spending a lot of time figuring out the complexities. It seems like they're more concerned about just, changing it.
Do you, I don't really expect them to. It's the same thing with the healthcare plans is, let's pass it and then see what's in it. But
yeah, let's see what happens.
You wonder if anybody's really worked through the ones of us that are in the field that have got to make this work and then, or explain it. We seem to be.
Yeah, another thing is to get rid of the alternative minimum tax which I don't know if Donald Trump, that one tax return that they have of his was about 10 years ago. I mean, most of his tax was AMT.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, my sister and her husband were mostly AMT as well.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it was funny because, you know, when they first came out with electric cars, they said if you bought an electric car, you could, you know, write off this credit on your income tax and everything. And when they went in and sat down with their tax guy, he said, oh, you guys don't qualify for that. And they said, what do you mean we don't qualify? We were told we would get $6,000 off. Oh, well, you're above the AMT, so you don't get it.
Yeah, you're too rich. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. You know, they both work.
AMT was designed to mitigate a lot of those loopholes and at least make a more fair tax for the wealthier taxpayers. But the problem is it started, as years went by, it started chipping into middle class.
Well, yeah, because it wasn't indexed, the
Yeah,
AMT.
exactly.
That's right.
Well, unfortunately, if you want to have a fair tax system, you're going to have a complex tax system, you know.
Yeah.
And then the wealth transfer is going to exclude $10 million rather, I think it's like $5 million right now.
Maybe in your inheritance.
So anyway, I will go ahead and make sure I put these up in the chat.
Thank
So
you.
I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Got it.
Don't you feel so helpless?
Excellent, Dennis. Excellent.
Yeah. It's like we just sit back and let it happen to us. You know?
Yep.
I'm going to write some letters and make some phone calls. I think I'm also going to, I don't like to do it on Facebook.
No, it's not the right place to do it, but
No,
Find out who your friends are real quick.
that's true.
former friends.
Okay. Well, that was a downer for after Thanksgiving. Boom.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Well, I had to sit through this for 8 hours on last Friday.
Oh, okay.
My goodness.
Share the pain.
No, I appreciate what you're bringing back to us, Dennis. I do.
Maybe we could contact our, you know, I have a lot of friends that marched in Washington with the pink hats, you know, the ladies and everything. I know, it's all right, it's all good. But the thing is, they're very activist.
Yeah, they're loud.
If I can get the word out to my friends that are very activist, I'll bet they would start marching against this because it's going to really affect them. And the most of them are in California that I know. So maybe people.
Well, just reducing the different tax rates from, get how many we have until to then. I mean, it already bumped us up into a higher. You know.
Did you get the slides in the chat?
Yeah, I'm downloading them right now.
Yeah, I did. I'll post them once I put the recording up. I'll put it in the in the comments.
Yeah, this guy that gave the presentation, he used to be in Seattle, but he's now teaching in Georgia, in Atlanta. And this guy he could be a stand-up comedian. He is so funny. And the way he presents, I mean.
It's hard to make this stuff funny.
Well, the way he can make it funny. I mean, this guy is,
Well, that's a good speaker. Yeah.
He's got a really dry sense of humor. And so we're kind of laughing the way through the pain, you know.
Mm-hmm.
What else can you do?
But I'm just a little concerned that people aren't aware of especially with the complexity.
Well, they don't really understand the system now.
Well, yeah, especially if they think they're getting it, you know. Imagine these poor people that are lose when grandma loses her medical deduction aren't going to be very happy.
Oh my gosh. Please don't take away my medical deduction, please.
Yeah. Well, from what I've read, I read like Kiplinger tax letter, and they think that one might, you know, get pulled. Usually they try to make them as unattractive as possible.
Well, you know what? They throw in a lot of the ones that people are going to go,
yeah.
We had no intention of passing them in the first place. Those are going to, okay, we're going to give in on that.
Yeah, right. They're going to
And
have some
on
chips.
that,
Yeah.
everybody will calm down. Meanwhile, they get through what they want. I mean, you can't just read this stuff. There's always a backstory or a plan.
Yeah, I would hope so. But anyway, just on the face of it right now, it's pretty unattractive, especially if you are in a high income state with high income taxes.
Well, that thing with the state taxes, that's upsetting right there.
Yeah. So how was QB Connect, Linda?
Oh yeah, you're the only one here that went to the convention.
Linda, you're muted.
Okay, sorry. I enjoyed it very much, but I forgot to buy my ticket for $199 by midnight.
Oh, I bought 2, and I doubt we'll go, so we'll talk.
Well, I'll
Just in
probably
case.
go, but I was lying in bed at I think it was 11:45, and I was in bed, and I'm going like, oh shoot, I didn't sign up. Do I want to get out of bed and go over it? And I said, it's not until next November. It's at the very beginning of November, which is good. They moved it earlier. I think it's 5th and 6th, 4th, 5th, and 6th. But they will have a couple more specials.
Oh, I'm sure that they will.
Give me a break. Now, the one I want to sign up for, though, is I want to sign up for Scaling New Heights, and I believe I have until...
I think we paid
Tonight.
$5 ticket before we left Scaling.
Oh, you might have, but I wasn't there, and right now I think it's $625.
Okay, because I paid $2,000 because I want to bring 4 of us. I owe my husband that money.
So where is Scaling New Heights this year?
Atlanta. That's
Atlanta. Oh my.
That's why I'm like, oh,
You
we're
have to
all
go.
going. Because I mean, we hop in the car, and then I'm hopefully we'll get the Sleaters and Clayton and all that to come either before or after, and then play tourist around here because they haven't done the East Coast. Lower.
I don't know. They just charged my credit card.
Yeah.
For Accountex for another year, $260.
Yeah, me too.
So I guess I'll be a member one more year. But a lot of the people I was talking to at QuickBooks Connect kind of feel like Accountex doesn't offer just to offer. It's just.
I didn't hear what you said. There's a lot of background noise somewhere.
Oh, I hear it.
Yeah. Gina, do you hear it?
I do, and I can't tell where it's coming from.
Okay, go ahead. Repeat. You said something about the membership to Accountex.
A membership to Accountex was $260. They just charged my credit card and sent me an email.
Right.
And it's an automatic renewal,
Right.
which I think is okay. But I really need to start going to see what I'm getting for that because I'm not used.
You can deduct. It's only as good as if you're going to go to the convention, they'll take it off your
I know.
price. But if you're not going to go to the convention,
They were going to charge everybody $99 to go. And I don't really want to go. I really don't want to go back to Boston.
really?
You guys,
I hated Vegas.
you hated Vegas or you
I
didn't?
hated Vegas. I'm so happy it's
Yeah, well, the air is a lot cleaner. So it's just interesting trying to figure out what you want to spend money on and are you getting the return on your investment that you want or
It's
what?
a lot of money just to go see friends.
That's what it ends up being for me.
Now, that was something I was going to ask you about too. If I go back to Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
do you want me to come visit before or afterwards? Because
I've got the Sleaters and Clayton Oates, they've got first dibs. So like if they come before, then I'll go, who wants to come after? Because I've got a lot of guest rooms. I mean, we could party up good.
Oh, well, but I'm not going to stay at your place in order to go to the convention. That's a bit of a drive. So.
Oh yeah, no, but if you have any time to, travel 4 hours and go play tourist, then come on down.
Right. So I don't know. We'll see.
It's gorgeous in November. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no. That the November's Q is the 3rd, but there's 3 conventions that we want. When is Scaling in June?
Connect and
Starting to get hot.
Accountex.
Just a bit. And then Accountex will be August and then September from then on.
Is Accountex go? Oh, August. That's right.
Yeah, but then from now on, after next year, it'll be all in September.
Right, but it's going to be in Boston until 2020.
Yeah, and I don't want to be in Savannah in August, so I'm happy to go to Boston.
Got it. And it makes sense. Boston's nice. You're in the same time zone.
Yeah, same time zone, but huge temperature difference.
Oh yeah, I agree. And
We'll go, but because it's so close to Maine, we just keep going north.
yeah. So, but I enjoy it. I get a lot out of it. I get a lot out of webinars in between the seminars, but I really like I was thinking I might just do QuickBooks Connect and Scaling New Heights this next year.
Yeah.
So,
Well, if you're living in the QuickBooks world and you don't need to see all these other vendors and all that.
I really don't.
You know. I mean, if I owned a large CPA firm and I'm trying to look and see what all my options were and all that, Accountex is perfect.
And you need to stay aware of what's out there and what's changing.
Right.
And all.
It depends on what kind of consultant you are. Yeah.
It does. It really much does. And I basically am just a QuickBooks consultant. I'm not even an accountant or a bookkeeper.
So
I understand.
So in your case, and you've got a choice of three. I'm an accountant. Three conventions to go to. I'd probably do. Scaling has a lot of really good techie sessions and stuff.
Yeah, they do. I've actually never been to a Scaling New Heights. I went to a four-cursor of it in San Diego a year before Scaling New Heights started. And that was excellent. I love that.
So, Linda, I do have a question about QB Connect. Dennis was asking if there's like a master, who was giving presentations and slides, and
they're all available, I think, for quite some time to those of us who paid the money.
okay.
I don't know whether you
Those that didn't, like sometimes Accountex will let us buy them.
Yeah.
Well, QB Connect might.
I can't even find mine. I can't even find my own session.
Oh wow.
From Accountex?
Yeah. I think Joanne did a link one time and I didn't bookmark it, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I need to ask again, but I would like to see how it came out.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be very nice. The ones that I save are when I do the webinars online, and Hector Garcia and Michelle Long. I have all of those. And those
QB Power Hours, yeah.
power hours are very good. And there was a wonderful one he did about setting up a commission report. It was really brilliant the way he did it.
Geeky stuff, Jenny.
You guys do commissions over there, huh?
No. Jenny works with the poor of the poor.
I see. Got it.
Worker. Yeah. Who all's doing the December 1st webinar with Hector and Seth?
Oh, I've got to sign up for that. I have not.
The coupon. I think they extended the coupon.
Oh, nice.
You might, yeah.
It's in my chat from last week. I copied and pasted it.
I think he extended the coupon because of, Black Friday or something. Better what? Because of
some reason I'm not on their mailing list, and I don't know why.
I'll be leaving soon to take my daughter to the mall. I'm not sure if I'll get back in time, but
Okay.
I uploaded a couple more things to the
next
chat.
Friday or
Oh, thanks.
Yes, I see them. Very good.
One was about a week before the working together. It was like a 3-hour seminar on the changes in the IRS and what's going on with the IRS. And then the narrative one from Sam Donaldson, that was more detail on the slides and also some court cases. He's a pretty engaging writer, so you might want to
Thank
take a
you.
look at it.
Thank you. I'll have to look
Are you
at that
taking
more.
her to the mall now?
Pardon me?
Are you taking her to the mall now?
Well, what the deal is, she's home from college, but she's working part-time at the mall to make some more money.
Yeah.
And she worked from like 8 to 10 to 10:30 today, and then she's going back from 3:30 to 10:30, and she worked last night from 8 o'clock to 1 o'clock in the morning. So
Oh, wow.
I had to pick her up at 1 o'clock in the morning yesterday. The mall was just jam-packed at 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm thinking,
Not me.
these people don't have a life. It's like,
I like Amazon Prime, sitting
Yeah.
in my jammies curled up on the stove. Eating Thanksgiving leftovers.
yeah, I try to avoid them, at least on the first weekend. I try to avoid it,
Right,
I mean,
right.
if you strategically pick your times, like early in the morning during the week, you can usually, it's not too bad, but
Yeah.
weekends
From
are,
now until after Christmas, right? It's going to be insane.
yeah.
Not so bad around here.
Yeah, I know. I don't even.
If anything, sometimes there've been a couple times we've gone into Best Buy and Staples and stuff like later in the afternoon or on Saturday, dead, and all those lost leaders like the $99 monitors and all that, they're like begging you to buy them. I mean,
Have you ever seen those YouTube videos where people are practically killing themselves to?
well, they had some people were setting fires, and then they had some fights, and then there were some. I'm just like,
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'll pass on that
killing
insanity.
each other for 10% off. I'm sorry.
I hate crowds, and
Yeah.
I don't
just
most accountants don't like crowds.
That's true, I think.
Maybe that's why that guy in the movie, The Accountant, killed so many people.
kind of thin out the herd, so to speak.
Oh, speaking of movies, if you get a chance to go see Coco,
Oh, I heard that's great.
awesome. Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks for the tip.
Yeah.
So, Linda, you wanted to talk a little bit about your new QBO clients.
Well, yeah, I'm getting new clients. I've got one that I've set up for one business, and we're still working. I'm hoping I'm going to call in on Monday because we're entering the sales tax via a zero-sum sales receipt. We're doing a daily total. And what's really odd is when you go into this POS, which is Lightspeed. They use Lightspeed. And it's very nice reports in that. You go in and in the upper right-hand corner, you see like a vertical column, which shows all of the money coming in and all the money going out for all the money that you sold, stuff you sold, plus how it was paid for going out. So everything's right there. But when you go to get a report, you cannot get that report anywhere. You get all these other reports that you would have to search around to find that money. So I'm gonna basically design a form to capture it on or something, or maybe there's a way to screen capture your screen so that you could print that report because
From
that's
an
exactly
image?
what we need.
Now, wait. You can get the report if you're in their POS system.
Yes.
When can you not get the report?
When you go to reports and you go to print a report, that report is not
You
available.
can't get it to print out.
Viewable, not printable.
Yes.
Oh, that's
You
stupid.
don't create the report. The POS it's their default report that's in the upper right-hand corner coming down in their POS system. And if you choose the day, it shows you that for the day. And it's the perfect outline. And they don't do a lot of the parts of it, so we won't even have to have some of the parts.
Well, you know me, I'm always wheeling and dealing and thinking of, I'm like, okay, you're talking about an image. You could snap an image, make a PDF, and then get the PDF read by something, and then make a form so it imports as a sales.
Yeah, but that's a lot of work, and there's a lot of parts that can break doing that.
I know. See,
I'm
Jenny.
thinking actually,
Yeah, go ahead, Jenny's here.
here's basically what it is. I have it written down there. And I don't know if that's shown backwards or not, but it's basically gross minus discounts,
Right.
loyalty, refunds, store credit issued, and then the net. And then it has gratuity. They never use gratuity. They have tax, which will be the sales tax. They have tip, which they do use tips. And every single day, they give their waiters and waitresses, their wait staff,
Yeah.
their tips in cash every day.
Okay.
Okay, so that is going to be what it is, gets paid cash every day. Then we have gift cards, and they do have gift cards, and then the total would be 0. So, and that's there. I think I'm going to just train them so that we have QBO on the left side of the monitor.
Yeah.
That report is on the right side of the monitor. It's in
View
the-
it, fill it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my thought.
Yeah.
Just have them just like that and fill it in.
Probably be the easiest. Now with sales tax, are you using sales tax as a taxable item or a regular item?
It turns out that with, well, I don't know. That's what I have to,
You're gonna have to have sales.
I
I
could,
would do it just a regular item to make it simpler and easier
Use the
because
sales tax program.
well, what I was, well, in QBO, there is, and the sales tax is a little odd, but there's, the one good thing about a restaurant is everything's taxable, okay?
Nothing's
And it's all
excluded.
taxable at the same rate, it's where you are.
Yeah.
They don't deliver, they don't do catering. So it turns out it's 7.75%, okay? And it's San Bernardino County. The city of Rancho Cucamonga does not, which is where they are, they don't get any. So it's just a very simple sales tax. I was
There you
thinking
go.
of having the item point to the sales tax payable account.
Yeah, I'm thinking if it's that simple, do it.
yeah, I would just make it another current liability and do it that way. And since you're having POS anyway, that is tracking sales tax, why do you need to have it in QBO?
That's what they're using.
Well, it's a double check too.
Yeah, but I don't think QBO calculates the same as anything else. That's what,
QBO.
pardon?
We're not using anything but QBO.
No, I understand, but your POS system is accounting for the taxes. So you can always run that
Whatever makes it to the liability account, that's part of your sales tax, and just clear it with good old fashioned debits and credits versus the sales
Right.
tax program.
You would
Right.
take it in as income and then pay it out as negative income?
No,
She's
no.
not saying that. She's saying go directly to the liability account instead of going through the sales tax item code,
It just makes it a lot simpler.
which forces you to go to pay sales tax versus just doing a plain old check.
That's what I'm wondering, and I'm going to call them Monday morning about that. Can I bypass their system or not? Because I don't know that I can.
Oh, with QBO?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can.
You can point a
Just
check.
don't
anywhere you
use it.
want.
Yeah, just use it. Set it up as an other current liability as opposed to a sales tax item
Instead of the
In QBO.
into
in
it.
QBO.
Yeah.
So when
instead
you're
of-
reading your report from POS, you're putting everything in. You're still putting in the sales tax into the liability account.
Yeah.
And then when you actually pay it, you can write a check against that liability account.
So that's how you bypass it, is just
But,
make it
yeah.
another current liability, don't make it sales tax payable. I
Right.
like,
It's the type because
I
interest
understand
has, some
I know.
AR and AP and all that. You can have both. Well, I had a thought. Where'd it go?
I like that.
Where'd it go? I had a thought.
It'll come back.
I had.
So yeah, there's no
Oh!
point. Go ahead.
Hurry before I forget. Do you have vendors compensation credits that we get? If you pay it on time, you get 3% of the tax.
Sales tax.
In
You don't
California?
get something
No.
back? Okay. Because that's
You
the only
get
thing is when I
3%, Sarah. We get 1%.
do you? Because
We-
that's
we-
my liability is 1,000. If I pay it on time, I'm not gonna pay 1,000. So you got to deal with that.
You take the couple cents and it turns into income.
So anyway, that's really kind of funny. No, in California though, when I worked with the people who made, they made the like plastic frames that go inside a beekeeper's thing where the bees put the
Right,
honey.
right.
Frame.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I work with and they
That's the coolest client.
they only pay like 3% sales tax or 3.5%.
Because they're in some interesting industry.
Environmental.
Maybe the farmers union donates to the politicians. I don't know.
I don't think the farmers union's that wealthy.
That's why our tax code is like
Interesting. You don't learn about these things until all of a sudden you're working in those fields.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Sure.
Yeah, I
So-
never say no. It's not like that until. I mean, let's
Yeah,
just
no,
make sure that I'm
California,
like living and breathing.
Now, somebody else was telling me that software as a service now is sales taxable, but I hadn't heard that. So,
Better not. Oh, in California?
In California, it is. Yes, 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 yes. I have people that deal with that, and yes is the answer to that. No matter whether it used to be,
charge the sales tax.
Well, it used to be if they gave it to you on a CD, it was taxable. If
If you can hold it in your hand, it's tangible.
it was not. Right. But now they just got away. They just, nope, it's all taxable, period.
It's like when I sell my TBX program, it's online, it's not taxable.
Right.
It's a downloadable.
Yes,
States
California.
are getting hungry.
it's downloadable.
They just need to make revenue. That's the
But
reason.
if it's taxable, they just charge me sales tax and they pay it.
Yeah, but like if I download software from Intuit,
On that.
my address. As a matter of fact, they were charging sales tax at one point, and I called them. It was for our pro advisor.
Interesting.
The pro
And I'm-
advisor plus sales tax, and I said, wait a minute. And they said they got dinged because if they mail us anything tangible, and they were mailing us that junk, marketing materials or something.
Oh, yeah. We got all kinds of
Here's a
fun
copy
stuff.
of some checks that we sell and all that stuff. That was kicking it into being taxable.
Sales
I'm like, keep it.
We don't
Yeah.
I don't need no.
Right, right.
Get
Exactly.
beautiful
The other thing is I'm going to read you an email I got from somebody.
Get nothing. That's funny.
Yeah, I'm going to read you an email that I got from somebody who's decided to borrow $1,000 to get their QuickBooks set up right.
Yes,
They
you
now have 2 QuickBooks Online files, one connected to some kind of an expense tracker and another one online.
Mhm.
It says, okay, Linda, can you please tell us if you were $1,000 to set all this up, would it include some ongoing support if we get hung up entering data or need to modify something? I'm not sure we can pay more money after we borrow the money to do this. Need to know up front. And
That's a passive aggressive thing right there.
this, the $1,000 to set up and train you to use the QBO properly covers 3 months of setup and training, probably 11/29 to probably February 28. But after that, they do. If they want more help, they have to pay me.
Yeah, but how much
Absolutely.
are they talking 8 hours a day for 3 months? I mean, that's a little wide open, isn't it?
No, I don't give them 8 hours a day.
Well, I'm just saying, hypothetically, what was their
Because
expectations for?
And I kind of have a little system where we work on the checking account and bringing it in kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then they're supposed to keep doing it. The problem is that I find that a lot of the clients don't want to do the work. So then I just.
Well, they find out how much work it is.
Well, when you do your sessions with them, do it virtually, and you can record it, and they can look at that 100 times if they want to,
I like that.
Yeah.
and you can say that and offer that.
So
House.
simple with Zoom. So
But it's
Yeah,
pretty.
absolutely. And you can say, you shouldn't everything then at that point should be new. So they
What I
should
pretty much do is I schedule them 2 1-hour appointments every single week. And then they back out. They say, oh, it's Christmas. I don't have time for an hour with you. I gotta go to the mall. And every time they do that, I'm gonna write that down. And
No, absolutely. You should be charging for that because you took your time. That time you could be spending working on other people.
they have to understand there's an end time. And if they haven't learned it in 3 months because they couldn't make time, they were too busy, guess what?
It's not your fault. No.
Yeah.
you better go borrow some more money. I love that.
Get
We're
10 hours
borrowing
work
the
in.
money because our financial problems are your problem.
So I don't know. With that, so far, that's what I do. And then one guy, he wouldn't extend it. And I said, well, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But see, you got to
And hold up your end of the bargain. You're all right.
That's it. And I'm very careful how I write the contract out, what I'm going to do and what they're going to get from it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. I don't guarantee that they can do it on their own unless they do the work with me.
Right.
But
absolutely.
if I've been available, and most times when people contact you for help, it's like they need a minute or two of your time. You can just get them back on track. Because I repeat the same things over and over again, and I point out that probably the most important thing when you're learning something new is your practice. And I said, you need to spend 1 hour, 3 days a week doing what we're doing in our appointments.
Well, Linda, start recording those appointments. I'm serious. Start recording them.
Access
That
them.
way, if they want to see it 100 times,
They can. Yeah, and I don't think they get cut off for a year or more, so they're fine then. Yeah.
Well, you just click record when you're doing the Zoom, and when it's done, it'll make a file and just email it to them.
Yep.
Exactly. And the other thing, if you're telling them repeatedly same things over and over and over again, this is a good opportunity to make a recording.
Yes.
Go in and do a recording of it and just send it to them.
Yep.
I just remember Marietta telling us that she made one. Google that. Remember that? She made a recording. Hey, this is how you Google that.
Oh, this is how you Google.
Right. No, really. And it's interesting because Peggy West phoned me. We talked on the phone for 1 hour.
Mm-hmm.
And she asked me, what would you recommend to somebody starting out? How did you get your first client? First of all, I told her it's not as easy as you think, okay? And don't be surprised. Just don't give up. Just be persistent. And she was good. But all the things I told her to do, she did. I said, go find a local chamber of commerce. Find out.
Do those kind of things.
It probably will cost you $300 to $400 a year, but it's probably it won't because you're not in California. But so she probably got a good deal at $200 or something. But she did that, and I said, you want to find the Small Business Development Center, and you want to find SCORE. And she went to a meeting of the chamber like 2 days later, and SCORE and Small Business Development was there. So she got connected with all of them right away, and she called me back and said, thank you, thank you, thank you. I did what you said, and it worked. See, but so many of the people, when you share those things with them, they don't do them. For whatever reason. They're too busy. So.
Yeah, they're either busy or they're, what's the term? Assholes. People who ask a lot of questions, but they never do anything you know.
Right.
Repeating the same things, and I tell them the reason why I do it 2 1-hour appointments a week is because that's how college classes are taught. And the reason why college classes are taught like that is because it works.
Mhm.
It's a system that works. You work for much longer than an hour, your brain has a tendency to go to overload.
Oh, I've seen that glazed eye look, and I do limit mine for 2 hours for that reason. Once they get glazed over, there's no more,
Yep.
no
And
more
I
comprehending.
clearly works. So hopefully it will continue to work. So
Awesome.
this
This is a good group. Larry, are you sleeping?
he's Larry. Oh, I don't know where Larry is. Oh, there
He just went to the mall. Where's Larry sleeping?
you're right. Dennis.
He's unmuted. Let him talk. Hey, Larry.
He's like, I've been trying to get a word in for an hour.
Maybe his mic isn't working.
Yeah.
I've been waiting to hear from Misha and about her new computer.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's our project this weekend too. Dreading it. God, you know, well, what time is it? Because I wanted to bring up something and ask y'all.
Good.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so I don't know if you've noticed, I'd asked a couple questions on Facebook. I was looking at there's a startup in Georgia that was started by some bankers, and it's accounting software, and it has like components of bill.com and T-sheets, and okay, so it's sort of all inclusive. So interesting. Doing a great job coding, adding features all the time. And my first thought was, whoa, that's courageous. That's a biting off a lot.
Right.
Because Intuit has pretty much, well, let me back up. Desktop after 20 years became, a feature rich, okay? And then now that we're moving to online software, SaaS software, Intuit's going, we're not going that route. We're not going to be the end all to everybody. We're going to be a basic general ledger product, basic features for AR, AP. They're going to throw us bones every once in a while. But basically, the whole concept is this ecosystem of apps. So
right, you run your business on an app.
and so then we talk about the plumbing and going out to the app store, and you got 5 choices, and then you got to make a decision, and then next thing you know, we're being nickeled and dimed because you got to pay for Intuit, and you have to pay for T-sheets, and you have okay. So that's the way that industry, our accounting technology industry, seems to be
Headed.
right now, are moving this Doug Slater calls it chunkification. Okay?
Right.
Now, the founder had a very good point. He said, I can relate to this. No, we get app fatigue. How many times have we had conversations on what's a good project management software, and there's 30 choices, and me, I'm doing deep dives. I'm doing, comparative.
Smart sheets.
Who has time to do comparative
Right.
feature sets in order to make a decision? So what happens is it paralyzes people. So you've got a company, you have a business owner, and he needs whatever his big pain point is, and he'll try to solve that pain point, and then it's like, oh, I need accounting. Where's that? And they tend to find an industry specific solution, and then hope it works with somebody's accounting, and then we got to tack on payroll, and we got to tack on, So their concept is that enterprise level clients, ERP, the bigger boys, medium to large companies, they don't do all this plumbing, piecing stuff together. Okay, they're all inclusive type packages. So right now we really don't have any choices. But I wonder, after a couple of years of this, do you think it'd be it already sounds real appealing to go, you know what? You do timesheets and job costing allocation. You do all this in one product, $65 a month, unlimited, users and all that. And as long as they're hitting like the major features, I mean, they're not going to be the end all. They're not going to be the best Expensify. They're not going to be the best Bill.com. They're not going to, not this new. They'll get there maybe, but so.
Well, it depends. It depends if you're an early adopter. Number one, it's all great in the beginning when everybody has all that excitement and everybody, you know what I mean? But then after you're into it a couple years, do they have the sustainability?
Sustainability and that concept of being the best and constantly adding.
Right. And
that's what I've been looking for, and that was why I've had so many conversations, with them and all. But this concept, the reason I brought it up with you guys is this concept of taking all these components and trying to get them to work together, and business owners making these decisions. I think there is a market for.
Well, absolutely there is. I think people want something other than QuickBooks also.
They want options.
They want options, and I think that's why a lot of people are starting to go to Sage.
Right. But Sage has not been able to get a SaaS program off the ground, really. And that's why they bought Intact, but that's medium and
above. Right.
Curious to see what they're trying to do with the other guys, our company.
Well,
so I don't know. I'm excited to run out their payroll. Those full. I mean, you can.
Well, I am very happy to see a bank interested in that kind of thing, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
They're the first ones that actually have been interested in saying, what can we do for you, as opposed to, we're the bank and you figure out how to work with us.
Right.
That's a good approach.
And
So
these
I
guys are coming with they have years of banking experience, and they understand how complicated it is for a bank to deal with a company, and you're trying to loan and all the underwriting and all that. And if they can simplify that, well, that's what Intuit's doing. Intuit said, Intuit's now a bank. They're competing with the banks. They said, what are they calling it? Intuit Credit or QuickBooks Credit?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the loans.
If you're in QBO, we've already got all your information. Now, press the button, and depending on, all these algorithms, boom, you got 10 grand. Okay? That whole concept of the relationship between the lender and the company is just going to get, but Intuit went, we're not going to do it with the banks, we're going to do it ourselves. So now, why would the banks even, if the banks have, if a banker has as an option, go, hey, there's this other product out here.
Well, not only banks, but there are other options out there. There are other programs, look at GoDaddy and their stupid little, you know what I mean?
Well, even somebody said today, 17 hats. The vertical that they built out is really cool, but they tacked on an accounting.
Right. So
interesting, and this technology is going so fast. So
and Dennis and I had that conversation before we went online. How fast is it going to continue to go? We as accountants are used to doing new programs every year because tax law changes every year. Yeah. So we have to deal with new programs, and with that comes new ways of doing things. So we've been more on the cutting edge than business owners that do the same thing every year and are now becoming resistant to the change. Why do I need to do that? I've got a system that works perfectly well, and if we change, we're going to have that learning curve to have to go through.
Well, that's because we have to invest so much of our want to say time, but soul into the solutions. And that's why and I'm the same way. I've been trying to figure out what e-commerce thing to go with my new 2BX. And this has been going on for a month and a half, 2 months. And I'm like losing sleep because I'm like, all right, this was great. Oh, but it doesn't do that. Okay, well, this one does that. Oh, but then I can't do that. And so that pulling the trigger and making that decision, because once I make that decision and
You're all in.
Start learning, I'm all in.
That's the same for CRMs. Exactly the same thing for CRMs.
Management.
Yeah, all in.
I don't know. So this whole idea of an ecosystem, I don't know how viable that's going to be in the long term, because I think people are going to get fried on it. And then look right off the bat. Okay, you would go to the App Store. Okay, so you want a expense report add-on. Okay, and you go to the App Store and there's all these. There's the Concur and Expensify and
right.
Okay, but then what did Intuit do? Well, they wanted to add the feature itself, so they did a deal with Bill.com, and now there's a stripped down version of Bill.com in QuickBooks. T-sheets, Expensify. Okay, so what about all those other guys? All the other ones that are in the App Store going, hey, you told us if they use your platform, then we all
Bought into it.
get a voice in trying to get them to come with us, and you just added it to your software
And pulled the rug out from underneath of us.
Same
Yeah.
thing with the banks. They were the funding, the funding things. Well, what is it? I don't know. So many
Funding
of them.
gates.
Yeah, and all of a sudden now, wait a minute. Well, I've got this interface for banks, but you don't want them to do that. You want them to borrow money from Intuit. So it's I don't know. It's an interesting something we need to really keep an eye on, and keep an eye on all the mergers. Keep an eye on. I mean, look at the company that has bought. They bought. Not InSync. Cloud9.
Oh, okay.
they bought Cloud9?
Right Networks just bought who? Oh, Right Networks just bought Cloud9.
Oh, okay.
Yes. What's the one that got hacked right in the middle of
Abacus Next bought. Oh wait.
Abacus Next
No,
bought.
I'm sorry. No, Right Networks just bought Accentric, and Abacus Next bought Cloud.
Abacus Next bought Cloud9, who got hacked right in the middle of Countex. And
Right,
yeah,
right.
you got to watch these mergers, because see
It's
how
true.
you're seeing one company going, ooh,
Well,
I want this and I want this and I want
clarify
this.
that, 'cause
Yeah. AT&T wanted to buy Time Warner, and I think that they've kind of nixed that.
Well, we get into monopolies and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But the idea that, I don't know, it's just fascinating to watch these companies.
Well, that's part of being an early adopter. Is
Well, and then you adopt something, and then poof,
everything changes.
they're gone, or they get bought out, and then either they're going to take the code and run with it, or they bought it to kill it.
Right.
Yeah, somebody said something about that earlier.
Well, that's Microsoft in my wonder list. Oh,
Oh, Wonderlist! I love Wonderlist. I know. Evernote, the little clipper program.
I know. YouTube no longer has slideshow editor.
YouTube what?
They killed their slideshow editor. You used to be able to take pictures and make these cute little slideshows with music, and they decided, oh, we're going to retire that. Why? It works so well.
Look at your little frame. See her cute little pumpkin. How old is that program?
I know.
You can't get rid of it. She's like, every time she gets a new computer, she's like, I sure hope I can use my frame program.
Yeah, and it's been, thankfully.
You can't get it.
Oh my god.
Can't get it.
You
Can't
can
get
it on
anything like it.
Facebook.
Huh?
You can put it on your profile.
Well,
I was going to ask.
more videos. Pardon?
I was going to ask you. Did you get the other slides I uploaded
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I downloaded everything you put up there.
on the fraud and
I've got them all on the chat, and that'll come over when I render my video, and I'll put them all in the comments in the group.
Got it.
That's like reading for us geeks. Like Thanksgiving morning. This is so funny. Thanksgiving morning, I'm sitting on the sofa, you know, doing my iPad thing. Mark walks by. I went, because somebody posted that there was they just did a webinar on the new rules for, and I went, new rules for a statement of function expenses. Mark goes, oh no. I'm like, yeah, I guess that came out pretty much. But you know, sure enough, I went and found actually it hadn't changed. She misinterpreted it, but I downloaded the webinar because I can, while I'm dyeing my hair, I'm like, I can't move for 40 minutes. Those are perfect things for, you know, start the
Yep.
video. I can't touch it.
Yep, exactly. Alrighty, well, we did actually go a little bit over today, so I'm surprised.
well, the mall was sure crowded.
No.
I bet it was.
Fortunately, I know a back door to get out, so it's
Oh,
didn't have to stand after the 200 cars.
Wow.
it's
Wow.
always a stop sign there, not a light, you know.
I mean, people honking their horns. I'm thinking, you know, the Christmas spirit is
Not there, huh?
not
at
there.
that
I mean, imagine. Plus, people walking in between the cars and the, you know,
Oh my
just
God.
daring you to hit them. You know, it's like,
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Take her
So
home.
we've got a Christmas project that we're working on, and of course, I get overthinking because I'm thinking we can do a Google Sheet and a
Yeah.
Google Form and all this. And Mark's like, "Will you get a pad of paper?"
Name in the phone
Yeah,
number.
because
That's all I need.
we're trying to get people to donate gifts for the elderly in this high rise. So we have all the apartment numbers and what they want. Though 90% of them want Kroger or Walmart gift cards. You know, so to me, I'm picturing a spreadsheet. That they need to sign up, and we need their information so we can call them back if they don't get it in on time. You know,
get their phone numbers and email addresses. And
right. So I'm like, nope, because you know, do it with an app, and you know, they'll type it in. And Mark's like,
I went, there's old people who go to 4:30 mass. They're not going to Google.
you don't know what a Google is.
That's hysterical. All righty, we're going to end for today. Have a
Sounds
great
good.
weekend, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your Thanksgiving
Yes.
weekend, and we'll see you same place, same time next week.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.